Not another boring podcast. Mustafa Al Jazari through the body cams. Judge Weimer under the microscope. Now I'm gonna ask everybody. We are here with us. We have Casey, we have Char, we have Shelly, we have Becky, and we're gonna have more people join our conversation. If I can ask everybody that's on the group chat to mute the YouTube in the background if they're here on the group because there's an echo. Um, we're here to have a conversation about the police body cams, the discovery that's being leaked on the internet. And if everybody can tell me, is my voice amplified through this mic?
Sounds good.
Sounds good. All right, sounds good. We got it directly from our beautiful, beautiful Casey. We got confirmation. Now, it's been 2 years where Mustafa Al Jazari is held at a county jail without preliminary hearing, without a trial, with all his evidence, his body cams, the dash camera, the discovery, sealed by the government. Amy Ashworth went to Judge Weimer and got an order to seal off the body cams, the dash camera, the discovery. Now, the question that we have is what is Commonwealth Amy Ashworth so terrified that she got a judge order to seal off the discovery? Now, for a prosecutor, for a Commonwealth attorney who's screaming Mustafa is guilty in the court, she is sure terrified that this community is going to watch his evidence, that his material is sealed, not only from the community, but himself, sealed from himself. Mustafa has been in solitary confinement for 2 years. He hasn't seen the dash camera. He hasn't seen the discovery. He hasn't seen any of his body cam. And last time I checked, it is illegal to conceal discovery from the person that you're accusing. Now, it's been 2 years. No preliminary hearing, no trial, and discovery sealed. Well, unfortunately for Commonwealth Amy Ashworth, unfortunately for Judge Weimer, who we have evidence that is impartial, we have a Prince William County police officer who does not agree with what they're doing to Mustafa. Put all the discovery, all the sealed material, body cam, discovery, on a flash drive and supplied me with it. And I'm actively releasing the body cams, the discovery, and we're having a conversation. And the conversation that we're having is nothing more than the title of this podcast. Not another boring podcast. Mustafa Al Jazari, through the police body cam, Judge Carol Weimer under the microscope. Now, Judge Carol Weimer, we have evidence that he's been impartial. Impartial, where he's not ruling on the evidence. He's ruling on the relationship that he has with Commonwealth Amy Ashworth, specifically Prosecutor Sarah Sammy. Prosecutor Sarah Sammy is using police officer that lied, falsified the police reports, and she's using these falsified police reports to bring a case against Mustafa Al Jazari. Now, we have evidence where investigator Robert Drum falsified Mustafa's police report. We have an audio recording where we supplied the police department with the audio recording, the half an hour conversation, phone call conversation between investigator Drum and Mustafa, where it shows in that recording, and we supplied it to Internal Affairs. Internal Affairs ran an investigation and found out, sent us a letter, and this was on the news about a year ago, that investigator Drum falsified Mustafa's statements on the police report. Specifically, what he falsified is that the investigator said that Mustafa told him that he was arguing inside the vehicle with his girlfriend. Now, when you listen to the audio, you hear that Mustafa never said I was arguing inside the vehicle. Instead, this investigator Robert Drum, falsified Mustafa's statement on the police report. Now, on that note, let's listen to NBC4 talk about the police department. This was on the news about a year ago, and they talked about the police department sending us a letter where they admit that they had falsified Mustafa's police report. Now, our question, when you're watching this, What is the corrective action taken by the police department after they found out that, yes, Mustafa's police report has been falsified? Okay, I can tell you that the investigator still works for the police department, and there is no supplement report provided where this investigator falsified Mustafa's police report. As a matter of fact, as late as the last bond hearing that Mustafa had, the prosecutor stands in court and says, Your Honor, Mustafa stated I was arguing inside the vehicle. The investigator said Mustafa stated I was arguing inside the vehicle. Now, that's very disturbing, knowing that the internal affairs for Prince William County Police Department ran an investigation, and the chief of police, Peter Newsham, sent us a letter admitting that, yes, this investigator had falsified Mustafa's police report. Let's play that news clip, and we're going to have a conversation. Let's put the volume up. There we go. There we go.
There are new questions being raised in the case of a man charged with murder for a crash that killed his girlfriend and her 5-year-old daughter last year.
They come after Prince William's police chief ruled the investigating officer had violated department policy. Northern Virginia Bureau Chief Julie Carey spoke to the driver's defense attorney about why he thinks the finding casts doubt on the case.
Mustafa Al-Jazeera has been behind bars for almost a year now, accused of intentionally driving his car into oncoming traffic, a crash that killed Dorothy Fontaine and her 5-year-old daughter, Empress. Initially charged with manslaughter, the charges were later upgraded to second-degree murder. Al-Jazeera's family insists the crash was an accident. The defendant's brothers filed an internal affairs complaint with the Prince William County Police, alleging the investigating officer, quote, falsified a portion of his police report to say that the couple was arguing before the crash. Al-Jazeera's brother provided a taped version of a phone conversation that contradicted portions of the written police report. Last month, the Al-Jazeera family received this brief letter from Prince William Police Chief Peter Newsham reading, the investigation revealed that Master Police Officer Drum violated department policy, therefore appropriate corrective action has been taken. Al-Jazeera hired a new defense attorney, Blake Weiner, who tells me he specializes in police misconduct cases.
The police report talks about my client saying, I know what happened. He didn't say that. The police report also says that they were arguing in the car. He didn't say that. These are not only these material facts and material misrepresentations, they're the foundation of the government's case.
Weiner says without the incriminating statement, there's no proof Al-Jazeera crashed the car intentionally. Police will not disclose specifically what led to the finding that the investigating officer violated department policy. In a statement, a spokesman writes, the community can be rest assured the very minor administrative errors that were uncovered and addressed will not have a...
Now, this is very interesting. The spokesperson for the police department, Lieutenant Jonathan Perroque, with Prince William County, says the community can be rest assured the very minor administrative error that were uncovered and addressed will not have a negative impact on the double murder charges the accused is facing in the death of a mother and a 5-year-old daughter. Now, first of all, falsifying Mustafa's statements on a police report are not minor administrative error. When you have a recording of the conversation between the investigator and Mustafa, and in that recording, the investigator put in his police report that Mustafa told him I was arguing with my girlfriend. And Mustafa, in fact, based on a recording that we have supplied to the police department, that Mustafa never said I was arguing inside. These are not minor administrative error. To downplay this fact is a crime to Mustafa, is an injustice to Mustafa, injustice to Dorothy and 5-year-old Empress, injustice to the family of Mustafa, injustice to the community itself. These are not minor administrative errors. He falsified Mustafa's police report. As a matter of fact, this is how he was able to issue out a warrant and arrest Mustafa. Now, the Commonwealth Attorney, the government, are concealing the dash camera till this day. It's been 2 years. What is this Commonwealth Attorney and prosecutor are terrified that we're going to see on this dash camera? Now we're gonna watch this dash camera. We're gonna dissect this dash camera. And we're gonna find out, unfortunately for the prosecutor and the Commonwealth attorney, we have this dash camera and we leaked it out on the internet. This dash camera is in 4K. Now what this police department have done is they cut the last part before impact. We have evidence, and we're going to show this community how this police department edit the dash camera. They cut the footage before impact. Now, they not only cut this dash camera, but they muted the dash camera. It's been 2 years, and we have a document that in the discovery that's also sealed, but we have this document that Officer Zymus with Prince William County, with the digital forensic out of Prince William County, admit that this dash camera does in fact have audio. But the police department concealed this document, concealed this finding, concealed this audio. Officer Zymus says the audio is on an SD card that's in the dash camera. Now let's continue watching this because it's very interesting what the Commonwealth attorney and what the Commonwealth attorney weigh in on the situation.
Negative impact on the double murder charges the accused is facing in the deaths of a mother and her 5-year-old daughter. And the Commonwealth's attorney also telling me the policy violation will not impact the case, writing, "The letter has no impact on our case or the charges we brought. We were aware of the mistake that the officer made in his report and had already provided that information to the defense."
Now that's interesting. Let's go back and see what the Commonwealth attorney is talking about.
Negative impact on the double murder charges the accused is facing in the deaths of a mother and her 5-year-old daughter. And the Commonwealth's attorney also telling me the policy violation will not impact the case, writing, "The letter has..."
Now, the Commonwealth attorney, Amy Ashworth, says the letter has no impact on our case or the charges that we've brought. We were aware of the mistake that the officer made in his report. So you're aware that Investigator Drum falsified Mustafa's police report? You're aware. You're admitting to the community that you're aware of Investigator Drum falsified Mustafa's statements on the police report. Then, ma'am, why is your prosecutor standing in court as late as a couple of months ago during a bond hearing, repeating what this investigator said, lied about? The prosecutor, Sarah Sammy, stands in court in front of Judge Weimer during a bond hearing, and she says, "Your Honor, Mustafa himself said I was arguing inside the vehicle. That's what the investigator is telling me." That's interesting. But here we have Commonwealth Amy Ashworth tell the community that we were aware of the mistake that the officer made in his report and had already provided that information to the defense. No, you haven't. I have every piece of evidence in evidence.com, and a supplement report has not been provided. Now, what is a supplement report? A supplement report, when you have an officer falsify your statements, make a mistake, falsify your statement, put on that police report something that you have not said. Now, we have a police report by Investigator Drum where he said Mustafa told him he was arguing inside the vehicle. And here the Commonwealth attorney says we were aware of the mistake. Where is the supplement report, ma'am? Why is your prosecutor, Prosecutor Sarah Sammy, as early as a couple of months ago during a bond hearing, stand in court and tell Judge Weimer, lie to Judge Weimer and tell him, "Your Honor, the Investigator Drum, Mustafa told Investigator Drum that he was arguing inside the vehicle, that he was angry at Dorothy inside the vehicle." Why is the prosecutor lying? Do you think this community is naive? Do you think this community is stupid? Do you think this community is asleep? Oh, wait a minute. You know that the community will never find out because you went to Judge Weimer and you sealed off the discovery. So the community cannot verify what you're telling. Well, unfortunately for you, we have a Prince William County police officer out of your own police department put this discovery, put these body cams that are sealed by the government on a flash drive and supplied it to Mustafa's brother. We have every piece of evidence that you have in the discovery. and we're leaking it to the community, and we get to have a conversation about what you're telling the community. You lied to the community. You said there was a supplement report. You said that you reprimanded this police officer. No, ma'am, you haven't done anything. As a matter of fact, this police officer still worked for the police department. Investigator Robert Jones still works for the police department like nothing has been done. Let's continue listening to NBC4.
No impact on our case or the charges we brought. We were aware of the mistake that the officer made in his report and had already provided that information to the defense. Court documents
Now,
filed by prosecutors say there.
what I find interesting is that she said there has no impact on the case. We're going to go into details about what exactly is Commonwealth Amy Ashworth talking about. Now, we have evidence that the Commonwealth attorney is using kids and weaponizing Dorothy's kids against Mustafa. We have evidence that the police department tempered and coached these kids and are weaponizing them against Mustafa. What am I talking about exactly? Now, we have the forensic interviews. Dorothy Fontaine had Mustafa's girlfriend. Dorothy had a 9-year-old child, a 10-year-old child at the time, a 14-year-old child, at the time a 16-year-old child. What the police department investigator did, according to the forensic interview, you only hear this in the forensic interview, that one of Dorothy's kids, in a forensic interview, where we publicize this interview, you won't find this in the police report. You only see it in the video evidence, in the forensic interview. Dorothy's 14-year-old child, Jaden, says that... Huh? Well, let's take this outside and find out what... Apparently, we have someone that's knocking on the door and attempting to... Can you record? Can you record? And attempting to get us to get silenced. Are you recording? How you doing, brother? Doing okay? You are live on YouTube. What is going on?
I'm serving 2 papers
Look, go ahead.
I did.
Who are you serving it to?
to Michael and Suad.
That is me.
Okay?
Okay.
The papers on the door.
All right. These intimidation tactics will not work because the person that you're going up against, I think they forget that they trained as a paralegal. We are here, and these intimidation tactics will not work. I think they forget that the person they're going up against is a paralegal who was trained for 3 months as a paralegal that knows how to write his motion and knows how to go up against these individuals. We have, the county is using your own lawyer to go against you and do their bidding to get you to be silenced. Well, unfortunately for them, I cannot wait for February 26th, where Judge Funk is giving me a whole entire day to go over exhibits. And we're going to talk about disturbing details, where Prince William County is simply purchased your lawyer to go up against you, to get you to be silenced. What are they terrified from? What kind of information are we talking about that they're terrified in attempting to silence me? It's not going to work. Back to our conversation. Now, we have evidence that the police department lied to the kids, coached the kids, told the kids. Jaden tells us, Dorothy's 14-year-old child, in a forensic interview, says, the investigator told me. Now, mind you, this is at the stage where the police department is investigating the vehicle accident. Within hours, investigators are telling kids that Mustafa did this on purpose, lying to kids that Mustafa ran away from the scene, when in fact Mustafa was helicoptered to the hospital. Telling kids that Mustafa ran away and left your 5-year-old baby sister, and if he hadn't ran away, she would have still been alive today. That's what they're telling the kids. And then they put them in a forensic interview. The police department gave those kids someone to blame. Weaponized those kids against Mustafa. Lying to the kids. They told those kids that Mustafa ran away, and if he hadn't ran away, your 5-year-old baby sister would have still been alive today. That's what Jaden is telling us in a forensic interview. Let's watch that forensic interview. Now, you want to talk about child abuse? That's child abuse. When the police department lied to the kids in their most vulnerable state, they just lost their mother. They just lost their 5-year-old baby sister in a tragic vehicle accident. We have the dash camera that showed this is a tragic vehicle accident. It's a vehicle accident. It's child abuse when you lie to kids. Now, this is a forensic interview of Dorothy's, at the time, 14-year-old child.
So the craziest thing happened to me today.
Let's listen to that interview. Now, mind you, when you listen to this, the police report does not say it's been falsified. Does not talk about. Does not. You don't see what Jaden's talking about. They left that out of their police report. So the Commonwealth attorney concealed that forensic interview, and we're only going off police report. That are also sealed, but the police report has been falsified. Now, we're going to file with the police department, internal affairs, to a complaint against this police report. We thought one police report was falsified. I can tell you, without exaggerating, every police report in Mustafa Al-Jazari case has been falsified. Why'd they leave that information out of that police report? Why'd they leave that the police department tampered with the kids, coached the kids? And you want to use these kids to testify against Mustafa? You just gave these kids someone to blame in their most vulnerable state. You told them, you lied to them, you told them that Mustafa ran away from the scene, left your 5-year-old baby sister. When on body cam, we see that Mustafa getting helicoptered. Mustafa just came out of a coma. We have documents where Mustafa was in a coma. Let's watch this forensic interview.
And was on the game. I went into my mom's room, was watching with YouTube with my baby sister. My brother wanted me to leave so I can show me something. She asked me to stay, so I stayed, and I stayed until I left with Daniel. And because they were leaving soon to go get errands, rather I should have stayed because that was going to be the last day I ever saw her again. I came back from Daniel's house to my brother and my younger brother, Farron, and she's still here. Apparently they didn't go with them, which was a good thing. Anyway, I was watching them, waiting for them to get back until I cut the news. So I saw, we called him Moses, but anyway, he came from the hospital in a hospital gown and blood on his forehead, and which was weird. He told me my mom they got into a T-bone accident. Rather, no, that was on purpose. He made that T-bone accident. He ran out to mid-traffic and he put himself in an accident on purpose. I don't know why, I don't know his reasons, but at the time I was so upset I didn't realize the truth. I was crying, I was upset, I was really upset. My mom just died. We cleaned the whole house for her too, cheer her up. And at the time my baby sister was in the hospital. She was in a car seat at the accident. She didn't sadly did not make it. The fact is, I saw him lying to my face, and his family lied to my face. His mom lied to my face, and they were trying to protect him. He left before the cops get there. When he got into the car crash, the detective said he jumped out and ran, left my baby sitting there. And if he just thought to bring her to the hospital, maybe she would have made it, but she didn't because he decided to be a coward, and now she's gone. And now I have my two brothers. She was the sweetest. She would never even hurt a fly. She was innocent too. 25. Now my mom's gone. Now she's gone. Because of one man that I trusted. Because my mom kept on telling me he's a good guy. I kept on saying, okay. Alright, I told her I had my suspicions and I should have went with my gut. I knew something wasn't right. And I still believed her, and that's why they're gone today.
The detective told me that Mustafa ran, and if he hadn't ran, my 5-year-old baby sister would have still been alive today. Now, unfortunately for the police department, unfortunately for the Commonwealth attorney who wants to use kids, who's traumatizing kids, who's lying to the kids, we have the Googleness inside the apartment that show how much Jaden loved Mustafa, how much the other kids loved Mustafa, how much Dorothy loved Mustafa, how much Mustafa loved his girlfriend and the kids. The police department and the Commonwealth attorney are terrified to look at the Google Nest. Now, Jaden says the detective told him that Mustafa ran away from the scene, left your 5-year-old baby sister. And if he hadn't run away, she would have still been alive today. That's child abuse. To use these kids, to make them hate Mustafa. When you listen to Jaden says, Mom always told me to trust Mustafa. And I trust Mustafa. I trusted Mustafa. And he's sitting there beating himself for trusting Mustafa. That's interesting. That gives you insight to where the mom told the kids to trust Mustafa. That the kids trusted Mustafa. Only after a police officer, an investigator, gets involved, lied to the kids, and weaponizes these kids against Mustafa. Put them in a forensic room after you lie to the kids. That's child abuse. Now, when you tell Julie Carey with NBC4, Julie Carey and other individuals that are nothing more than a mouthpiece for the police department tell you that Mustafa's brother is a disgusting human being for releasing the forensic interviews, for talking about the details in what the forensic interviews show. That Mustafa's brother is a horrible human being. Now let's talk about this for 2 seconds. Why is the conversation not addressing the giant elephant in the room? Why are we not talking about seeing those individuals like Julie Carey and trolls that are stepping up to become the mouthpiece of this police department? Not addressing the giant elephant in the room. Is it not child abuse that the police department is lying to kids in their most vulnerable state when they just lost their mother and 5-year-old sister? Is it not child abuse to drag them into a forensic interview, to record them in a forensic interview, to bring them into court knowing that they lied to them? I don't see those individuals that are trolling the conversation and becoming a mouthpiece for the police department address this giant elephant in the room. Now, the longer this is going on, we're finding out more disturbing details. We're finding out that Kylie, 16-year-old daughter at the time, who is now 18, is running around terrified of details coming forward about her soliciting to murder Mustafa. We have a recording where Kylie, who is no longer a minor, who today is 18, is hiding behind, I'm a minor. Let's not have anybody talk about me. Well, that's very interesting. When you're soliciting to murder somebody, you can no longer hide behind a minor. When you're lying about Mustafa, you can no longer hide behind a minor. When the police department is using you to lie, to prosecute an innocent man, you can no longer hide behind Mustafa. What am I talking about? This is a very giant claim for me to make. Well, let's talk about what Glenn Ford, Dorothy's ex-boyfriend, is talking about on a recorded line. Dorothy's ex-boyfriend, Glenn Ford, says that Kylie, who at the time was 16, who today is 18, who is no longer a minor, came up to him and asked him to murder Mustafa. Let's listen to that audio conversation. And let's really address the giant elephant in the room. You have trolls that are protecting the police department, who are becoming the mouthpiece of the police department, are coming after me when it's Glenn Ford himself on a recorded line admit to a private investigator that Kylie, who's not a minor, came up to him and solicited to get Mustafa murdered. Now, how is this relevant, and how is it relevant to the whole entire case? Well, we have a body cam of Prince William County Police Department, which is sealed by the government, which we have this body cam, and we released it on the internet. The police department, the police mechanic, inside the police department, inspect Mustafa's vehicle and find brake failure. They find brake failure. They find transmission failure. We have a body cam where a mechanic inside the police department is inspecting Mustafa's vehicle, and they find brake failure and transmission failure. Now, Kylie soliciting to murder Mustafa. Today we have a vehicle accident. Kylie solicited to get Mustafa murdered, and specifically she said, can we make it look like an accident? Well, what do we have today? We have a vehicle accident, and we have a police mechanic on a body cam admit that there is brake failure and transmission failure. Someone tampered with Mustafa's vehicle. We have a recording where Kylie is soliciting the ex-boyfriend to murder Mustafa, and can we make it look like an accident? This is a giant claim. Now, I have a recording of Glenn Ford himself saying that on a recorded line, admitting it to a private investigator. Let's listen to that audio.
She wanted me to shoot, like, kill him.
The older daughter wanted you to kill him?
Yeah. Like, where? Like, could you please, like, if I make it look like, so, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, something, and it's like self-defense, would you do it? And I'm like, no.
Kylie wanted me to kill Mustafa and make it look like an accident. Now, when you play this on the internet and it's posted all over social media, you have trolls that are not addressing that Glenn Ford is the one that's telling us this. I'm not saying it. Glenn Ford himself, the ex-boyfriend, is talking about Kylie going up to him and soliciting that Mustafa gets killed, and can we make it look like an accident? Now let's talk about Kylie. 18-year-old Kylie. Kylie Clapp, you cannot hide behind being a minor. You're 18 years old, and you cannot hide behind being a minor when you're soliciting to kill somebody, when you're lying about Mustafa, We're going to have a conversation. And for all those trolls that are becoming a mouthpiece, that are attempting to run from the conversation, we have evidence that we're going to address and have a conversation about. Why is Kylie Clapp soliciting to get Mustafa killed? Today we have a vehicle accident where the police department says that this vehicle had mechanical failure. Let's watch that body cam and dive into who is 18-year-old Kylie and why is she soliciting to kill Mustafa. Let's watch that body cam. We have a body cam where a police mechanic inside the police department is inspecting Mustafa's vehicle and they find mechanical failure.
This video went viral on social media. A man taught us a life.
This body cam is sealed by the government. They're terrified that the community is finding out what is going on in the background. The prosecutor is sealing this body cam from the community. Well, unfortunately for you, prosecutor Sarah Sammy. Unfortunately for you, Commonwealth Amy Ashworth. We have this body cam and the community is watching and we're going to get to talk about the details.
Do you want the calipers removed, or you can see brakes appear to be brand new.
These two. Well, if I was to ask you if they were installed and functioning properly, would you need to remove the calipers for that?
Yeah.
Okay. As long as we can make sure that whoever put them on look like they did them correctly and look like they're not causing any issues, then I'm okay without the calipers coming off.
Visually, they look good. If somebody, is there a brake panel even left in it?
Yeah.
If I could give you a pipe or a bar to push on, could I see if it physically stopped its rotation?
Yeah, that's fine. I think we could do that. Okay.
It's still attached.
Hey, Cruz, I'm going to push the brake. He's going to spin that. Can you? That's fine. Can on your cam, can you record the stopping of the motion?
36. Well, we can do it the other way. I can push it.
No, it's fine.
You pick the other one?
No, I was. Go forward. Go forward. All right.
He's got to push on the. Yeah, it works.
It works? Okay.
So it applied and released.
Okay.
You want me to do that one?
Yeah. Just tell me when you're ready. You ready?
Yep.
I'm applying it.
All right, this one's still going.
That one's still going?
Yeah, this one's still going.
Okay.
I'll put a visual on that so you can see anything.
That's fine.
Yeah, this is the one with the damage.
Okay, well, we'll take a look at that one because
That one stopped too.
that one, yeah, I saw that one stop.
You want me to spin that one or this one?
Yeah. Hey, Cruz, watch the front one.
Okay.
So they're inspecting the back passenger caliper.
Hey, Cruz, you got that
They're
one?
inspecting
Okay,
the
ready?
front passenger caliper, and they're not engaging. And the police mechanic tells the investigator the tire keeps going. The investigator is depressing the brake, but the tire keeps going. There is no brake. There's caliper. There's brake failure. Now, body cam continued. This is about an 2 hour body cam. where they go into details about the brake failure. They go into details about the transmission failure, the drive shaft and the transmission disconnects from the engine. The computer inside the vehicle showed that Mustafa's foot was on the brake pedal, hitting the brake, but the RPM going really high. So Mustafa's foot is not on the gas, it's on the brake. So the computer inside the vehicle showed that Mustafa's foot is on the brake, but the vehicle doesn't stop, and the RPM shoots really high, which explains that the transmission drive shaft disconnected from the engine, and the engine has no choice but to keep revving up. Mustafa managed to get the vehicle from 55 to 35. Speed limit is 55. A lot of individuals are trolling the conversation because when you watch the dash camera, NBC4 aired out a 4-second clip from the dash camera, which they cut and pieced together a deformed version of the dash camera that really doesn't show anything. And Mustafa's dash camera, if you see the dash camera, it says 77 miles an hour. Now, this is part of the campaign that the Commonwealth is using for the community to troll the conversation. You have a lot of trolls on the internet that are saying, Mustafa is going 77 miles an hour. Look, he's reckless. No, he's not. The dash camera is going, it says 77, even when he's at the 7-Eleven. He pulls into a 7-Eleven to put gas, blah, blah, blah. The dash camera odometer still says 77. The dash camera is not calibrated to the speed limit. Mustafa's speed limit was 55. He got the vehicle to go down to 35, but the vehicle wouldn't stop. There's brake failure. According to the police mechanic himself, there's brake failure, there's transmission failure. Now, our question is, Mustafa just got his vehicle out of the shop 2 weeks ago. He had brand new brakes, and they put in a transmission in there, and they redid the whole front suspension. So this vehicle just came from a shop. It's supposed to be perfect. Now, why are we talking about brake failure? Why are we talking about transmission failure? Now, here we have a Dorothy's daughter, according to the audio we just listened to, admit to a private investigator that Dorothy's daughter came up to him and wanted him to kill Mustafa and make it look like an accident. Well, what are we looking at today? We have a vehicle accident and we have mechanical failure. Now, why is Kylie Clapp, Dorothy's daughter, who's 18, so she can't hide behind a minor, is asking to kill Mustafa? Now, we've intercepted a conversation where she admits that she knows an individual that had a problem with Mustafa. 2 years ago, before Mustafa met Dorothy, Mustafa used to go to a specific location where he promotes his small business, sell his items in his small business. Mustafa had a small physical therapy equipment company, and he would go to Crystal City. There's a public easement where in this public easement there are 3 businesses. One of them is a surf club, and to the left is a 7-Eleven. To the right is a Chinese restaurant. This is a public easement. Mustafa has every right to be there. He's been going there for 3 years to promote his business and sell his small physical therapy equipment that are FDA approved, and his heat warmers. And he's been going there for 3 years. One day, 2 years ago, a month before Mustafa met Dorothy, Billy, the club owner, and we'll play a very interesting video. This video went viral 2 years ago that shows a racist, fat man be a racist to Mustafa. And he's trying to impede him from selling his item, promote his business, and want to get him off the property. He has no right to that property. This is a public easement. As a matter of fact, Mustafa had permission from the next door Chinese place, the Chinese restaurant. So even if it wasn't a public easement, which is a public easement, Billy had no right to kick Mustafa out of that place. Now, we have this video that went viral at the time. Now, why are we talking about this video? Kylie talks about her dad working for Billy, she's hanging around the strippers of Billy. Now, that's interesting. Kylie admits that on a recorded line. Let's talk about Billy, and we're going to find out, what is Kylie not telling us? Why does Kylie Clapp hates Mustafa so much and is soliciting to get Mustafa killed? Let's watch that video. This is a video of a club owner that comes out and attempting to remove Mustafa from the property. 2 years ago. This video went viral. This video went viral. 7 million people saw this video. Billy, the community started boycotting Billy for being racist to Mustafa. In this video, you see Billy come out and attempt to remove Mustafa. Prince William County Police Department gets involved, and even though Mustafa had every right to be there, the police are siding with Billy. Now, to de-escalate, I was right there. I recorded that video. Attempting to de-escalate, this lunatic took out my cell phone to record, to de-escalate the situation. Hopefully, maybe, this lunatic has a brain cell to know that, hey, he's being recorded, the police are going to be there, and don't attack my brother. I recorded this video, I posted it on the internet. This went viral. Now, what do you see here? You see Mustafa de-escalating. You see Mustafa walking, attempting to walk away. Now, what's interesting? That's not what the prosecutor is telling us about Mustafa. She's telling us that Mustafa is a monster. He can't control his emotions. That he crashed a vehicle on purpose, despite of what the dash camera shows us, that this is a vehicle accident. They're lying. They're concealing that dash camera. Unfortunately for them, we have that dash camera. She's painting Mustafa as a monster. What do we see in here? We see a giant racist white guy being racist to Mustafa. And what does Mustafa do? He's de-escalating. He's walking backward. That's not the Mustafa that the prosecutor is telling us. That's not the picture that she's painting for us. Now, who is Billy? And what does Billy have to do with Kylie? Now, on a recorded line, I have Kylie say that her dad, Jason Clapp, works for Billy, and she's repeating the same sentiments that the prosecutor, that the strippers, Billy's employees, are repeating about Mustafa. Now, mind you, the employees of Billy, Mustafa's been going there for 3 years. The strippers that worked for Billy loved Mustafa. They used to promote his heat warmers for him. He's been going there for 3 years. Now, the minute Billy goes viral and decide to be aggressive with Mustafa, the strippers that work for Billy started antagonizing Mustafa. That even when we attempted to de-escalate and go across the parking lot to continue promoting Mustafa's business and selling the heat warmers, they would go across the street, antagonize Mustafa, record him to go to their boss and tell him, we're here for you. Now, Kylie Clapp is hanging around those strippers. Her dad works for Billy. That's interesting. Kylie soliciting to kill Mustafa. Now, I have Kylie on a recorded line admit that her dad works for Billy and she's hanging around those strippers. This is Kylie and what Kylie tells us.
my dad, he's a piercer. He pierces like a lot of strippers, and he had brought up to them what happened, and they were and who they were, and they were like, yeah, we know this guy. Like, he used to record our license plates and put it on the internet and like follow us home and stuff. So I also was thinking, I don't want them to follow me home, and I don't want to put myself in a position where, you know, I'm unsafe.
So you're telling me that unbeknownst to Mustafa, when Mustafa got in a relationship with your mother, your dad works for this guy? Mustafa got in a relationship a month into this situation. Mustafa gets in a relationship with Dorothy 2 years ago, a month after that situation. And you're telling me that your dad works for Billy and he pierces all his employees, all the strippers? Do you know how long in a deep relationship you have to be in to be able to pierce all the strippers for Billy? So your dad works for Billy. That's interesting. And you're repeating the same sentiments that strippers have against Mustafa now. Well, does this community know that a month after, actually 3 weeks after this incident, Mustafa's vehicle was tampered with, that someone stole his whole entire catalytic converter, and when we reported it to the police didn't want to have anything to do with it. And at the time, they told Mustafa, get your mobile mechanic brother to help you. Now, why is the police antagonizing Mustafa? Why is the police not following all Mustafa's vehicle get tampered with? And I'll tell you why. In the background, with all this going on, Mustafa had an active lawsuit against the police. Over $500,000 lawsuit. Now, this situation happens. Mustafa's vehicle gets tampered with. His whole entire catalytic converter gets stolen. The police doesn't want to have anything to do with it. A month later, after this incident, Mustafa meets Dorothy. Now, Kylie hates Mustafa. Kylie is soliciting to get Mustafa killed. We had no idea. Mustafa had no idea that her dad works for this guy. That she was hanging out with the strippers at his club that are antagonizing Mustafa. That's interesting. Does the police department know that Kylie Clapp, the police department, the prosecutor is using Kylie Clapp as the star witness into the Mustafa Al-Jazari case? Is the prosecutor aware that her dad worked for Billy? Does the prosecutor know that Kylie is hanging out with those strippers? Billy's employees? Does the prosecutor know that Kylie Clapp have solicited to murder Mustafa and make it look like an accident? I cannot wait for these details to play out in court. The Department of Justice has been notified. This evidence that are coming to light 2 years into the Mustafa Al-Jazari case is being watched by the Department of Justice and the FBI. Now, I find it interesting that when you talk about these details, you have individuals that will attempt to troll the conversation and are hiding behind Kylie Clapp is a minor. Kylie Clapp is not a minor. Kylie Clapp is 18 today, and you cannot hide behind being a minor when you're soliciting to murder Mustafa. You cannot hide behind a minor when you're lying about Mustafa. Now, I have discovery documents and evidence that Kylie Clapp Dorothy's daughter, was interviewed with the kids 2 days into the vehicle accident. Now, what the police department and the prosecutor did, they deleted her interview, her forensic interview, and had it redone in July after Kylie came out and saw us at the pavilion while we were protesting for Mustafa. Kylie Clapp, while we were protesting for Mustafa, came out and pretended that she ran into us by accident. And we had over 2-hour conversation with Kylie. Now, I remember at the time, Kylie told me, can you not video record any of it? At the time, I was naive, thinking that she just don't want to be on camera. But of course, I recorded the whole entire interaction. Now, I have almost 2 hours of interaction with Kylie before they did her forensic interview. Now, when I'm looking at the discovery, when I'm looking at the details that they deleted her forensic interview 2 days into the vehicle accident, April 7 of 2023, and redid her interview July 2024, after she came out to the pavilion. What Kylie Clapp was doing is gathering information to get her story straight. Because apparently she heard there's a Google Nest inside the apartment. She wanted to get her story straight. So when they redo her interview, her forensic interview, she has her story together against Mustafa. Unfortunately for 18-year-old Kylie, we have you on a recorded line admitting that you are soliciting to get Mustafa killed. Don't be mad at me. This is Glenn Ford himself, the ex-boyfriend, is saying that you went up to him and asked him to kill Mustafa. And can we make it look like an accident? We have you on a recorded line saying that your dad worked for Billy. That you hung out with the strippers. Those strippers that are angry that their boss went viral for him being racist. And was boycotted for almost over 4 months for being racist. His establishment was boycotted. You're hanging around those strippers and your connection with Billy. And now you're soliciting to murder Mustafa? Now, why is Kylie angry? Is Kylie upset? Is she being told to go out there and solicit to kill Mustafa? Now, we know from video evidence that we have video evidence where Dorothy did not want anything to do with Kylie. Kylie, at the time, was 16 years old and lived a lifestyle that her mom did not agree with her. Now, we have a recording where the ex-boyfriend is going into details of who is Kylie. Glenn Ford, on a recorded line, tell a private investigator that Kylie lived a lifestyle that her mom did not agree with. That she was on drugs, hard drugs like mushrooms and you name it. That Kylie Clapp would show up at the apartment, didn't even know where she was at. And then he would wake up while Kylie Clapp is sleeping in his bed. That's disgusting. Glenn Ford, you have a lot to answer for, sir. Me calling you a monkey. Glenn Ford,
this is a prepaid call from.
You have a lot to answer for, sir. Me calling you a monkey is the least of your problem.
To accept this call, press 0. To refuse your current balance.
And for you to be upset at me calling you a monkey,
4 cents.
from a person that goes around calling himself a barefooted monkey,
Thank you for using Global
I think
Telly.
you're hiding behind me calling you a monkey. Mustafa, hello, hello, hello.
Hey, hello.
We have Mustafa from Prince William County Adult Detention Center. Mustafa Al-Jazari has been held at a county jail without a preliminary hearing. Mustafa has been beaten, abused, abused, and denied medical. And we have his videos where Mustafa was beaten. Mustafa was abused inside the county jail, denied medical. We have the videos for the community, sealed by the government, but we have them. Now, we're talking about Mustafa before you join the conversation. I have Casey, I have Shirley, I have Stefana, I have Char, I have everybody on the YouTube live, and this is not another boring podcast. Mustafa Al-Jazari through the police body cams. Judge Weimer under the microscope. Now, before you came in, Mustafa, we were talking about 18-year-old Kylie, the jealous ex-boyfriend, Glenn Ford. And I was saying specifically, Glenn Ford cannot hide behind me calling him a monkey and pretending to be upset for me calling him a monkey. Especially when I walk around telling everybody that I am a barefooted monkey. Well, a monkey to a monkey. I invite you to a podcast that we're going to be holding in front of the DOJ, in front of the FBI building. And we invite you to come out, physically come out, and have a conversation with us on the podcast. We invite you and invite 18-year-old Kylie Clapp. We invite Amy Hodgkins, who's pretending to be Christine Al-Khuzai on the internet. We have evidence to show that she's Christine Al-Khuzai. We invite Kate0707, who is Stephanie Claiborne drum, pretending to be Kate on the internet. We invite those individuals to have a conversation with us on our podcast in front of the FBI building, to physically sit there and have a conversation. We are talking about the body cams, the discovery, and if you have nothing to hide, then you should have no problem sitting on a table on public property in front of DOJ when we're holding a podcast. If you're not scared and you have nothing to hide, you should have no problem coming out and having a conversation with us. Instead, you hide behind a computer and attempt to derail the conversation and run away from the conversation. We have Glenn Ford, who's saying the brother of Mustafa is calling me a monkey. Yes, I am. You're definitely my fucking monkey. Coming from a barefooted monkey, you are my monkey. And I've earned that title. I've been Is this thing on? There we go. We are on. I've been advocating for my brother and other individuals in our county jail where I was barefooted, and I've earned the title for being a barefooted monkey. And brother, you are my monkey. And I promise you, by the time I'm done with you, you're going to end up in federal prison for lying about my brother. Now, I invite you, if you have any balls, if you have nothing to hide, come out and have a conversation in front of the FBI building. We're going to have a table. We're going to have a setup like this where we go live in front of the Department of Justice, in front of the FBI building. We're going to have a seat for you. We're going to have a seat for Kylie. We invite Kylie Clapp, 18-year-old Kylie. We invite Amy Hodgkins, Kate, Stephanie Claiborne, to have a seat and have a conversation. We have a lot of questions for you. The community has a lot of questions for you. Mustafa, I love you. I'm so happy that you're here.
Hey, I'm glad to be here. What time is it?
It is 6:05.
6:05. Can you please let me know, like, in 5 minutes so I can just call real quick?
Of course. Of course.
My 610.
Mustafa, we hear that Sheriff Glenn Hill and the correctional officers are definitely waking up to a reality that the police department lied about you and they were being used to abuse you. You're telling me there are correctional officer coming up to you?
Oh, definitely.
Mustafa, tell us about what's going on. Tell us what's going on.
I just want to say that first and foremost, I just want to say thank you so much for being here during my difficult times, and I appreciate everyone's support. Casey, Char, Stefana, and I don't want to forget anybody, but Shirley, everyone that's in the background, God bless you. I'm just sitting here under the most difficult time of my life. I lost my family members. These are dear family members to me. I'm grieving over my family members, and I've been sitting here in solitary confinement for roughly 2 years. I'm just sitting here where I've been framed and I've been titled a murderer. And when you're titled a murderer, people think you're actually a murderer until they look at the facts. Now that the discovery cameras are out, the real facts are coming out. You have trolls, you have people such as Christine Alcazai, who's been writing me love letters. That's not Christine Alcazai, that's Amy Hostin. This whole time. And you have Robert Drum, who falsified a police report. Robert Drum is utilized by his wife, Stephanie Claiborne Drum. That's Kate online. You have individuals that are concealing their identities. These are the diddlers, and the diddlers have been identified. You have Kylie Clapp, who's claiming to be a minor, but this minor is so comfortable in going to Glenn Ford and telling him to annihilate me, to kill me, and make it look like an accident. Individuals are roaming the streets, real criminals roaming the streets, and there's no accountability. But with transparency and with the facts coming out, you're going to see who's the real criminals, and justice will be served. It's the year of 2025. I've been here for almost 2 years, but patience, it takes a fundamental value of understanding. After a while, I tend to understand what it really means to be patient. I pray every single day. And every single day, I pray and say, justice for Dorothy and justice for Empress. Every single day. And the truth is coming out with your own eyes. I've been sitting here because of their lies. They put me in a position of a dangerous situation of violence. I got beat up. I got massacred by giant correctional officers because of these titles. The accountability goes to individuals who are in authority, who do not check the credibility of Amy Hobson, who claims to be a witness. And then Stephanie Claiborne Drum is in the background. Oh my gosh.
Mustafa, as you're telling your story, I have a video, a CCTV video from the jail where 6 correctional officers went into your cell and dragged a unconscious, handcuffed Mustafa, and he's getting beaten up on the head and dragged unconscious down the stairs.
The torture, the violence is just unacceptable beyond humane because of individuals that made false statements to police. And now some bad officers aided and abetted, such as Chad Mason, such as Robert Drum. They aided and abetted these individuals, the culprits. Now, there are good police officers. If all police officers were bad, we would be in total chaos. But you have a few individuals, such as Robert Drum and Chad Mason and Romero and the investigators, who are telling the kids in this forensic interview that had Mustafa not ran away from the accident, your baby sister would have been alive today. What kind of disgusting behavior is this? I've never heard anything like it. I was unconscious. I was helicoptered to Fairfax Hospital. I was released by medical staff and the police. They said you can go home in excruciating pain, beyond pain. The first thing I wanted to do is ensure that the kids are okay. My brother called the lead investigator, and the lead investigator said, under no circumstances, those kids are going with Mustafa. Why was that conversation not recorded? The kids were left at home with Nene. That's Kim Coleman, Tanisha Coleman, the neighbor, who claims to be such a good person, but on the discovery, she's saying really nasty things about me. The day of the accident, her baby was sleeping over at my house, calling me dad. She's asking me for a ride the night before the accident, canceling her Uber. If I'm this horrible driver, why would you take your child and put him in my vehicle and trust that your life, your child's life, and Dorothy and her child is in my car and I'm giving them a ride? Why are you entrusting yourself and your children in my house if I'm this horrible person? The only answer that I can give you is that the cameras do not lie. You check the Google Nest camera inside the house the day of the accident, you will see what kind of relationship I had with Dorothy and the children. I'm nothing but a loving, person that actually cares about people, and this is my family, that they don't have a father figure. Their father is out there doing crack, doing all type of drugs, doing all type of nastiness, and I'm over here taking care of the children, making sure that they have food on the table, making sure they have the roof on top of their head. They were living in a Motel 6 in their van. This is who Glenn Ford is. He dumped them in the freezing cold in their van. This is what kind of person that is. I don't know him from Adam, but based on what I learned, he's disgusting. I'm sorry, but this is not a monkey. This is a compliment. When you call him a monkey, that's a compliment. He is nasty. By the way, on that note, what time is it?
It is 6:12, and I find. Sounds good. I find it interesting and disturbing all at the same time that this monkey is hiding behind me calling him a monkey, coming from a guy that walks around calling himself a barefooted monkey. I've earned that title, and I promise you, brother, by the time I'm done with you, the least of your problems is me calling you a monkey. I'm going to have you in federal prison. Lying is
Hello, this is a prepaid call from an inmate at the Prince William Manassas jail. Your current balance is $1.15. This call is from a correction facility and is subject to monitoring and recording. Thank you for using Global Tellink.
Hello?
Mustafa, hello. Welcome into the podcast.
Hello?
This is... Yes, sir.
Hello. I just want to say, people think that I'm sitting here, I'm not a patient person, which I am a very patient person. I'm sitting here fighting for my life. I'm surviving. I was in a tragic car accident. I'm surviving. I lost my dear loved ones in a blink of an eye. And I tell you how precious these two individuals were in my life. Very precious, very dear to me. And they perished within a blink of an eye, not being called a murderer. The individuals, the culprits, the nastiness, the evil, have fooled jail authorities. They have fooled them to say that this guy's a murderer. And what happens? They put me in a violent situation. Obviously, they made mistakes here, and accountability is real. And I hold the top accountable, such as Amy Kaplowski Ashworth. If it wasn't for her governing and overseeing everything and her allowing it, this would have never happened. But ultimately, it comes down to the diddlers who have been identified.
Now, Mustafa, unfortunately, yes, go ahead.
Amy Hodgson, a.k.a. Christine Alcazar, who has been writing me love letters.
By the way, I have her picture. I have her picture on the podcast as you're talking about her. She claims to be
Amy
Christina
Hodgson.
Alcazar. This is who she claims to be. She claims to be this person on TikTok.
She is so comfortable.
Okay.
She is so comfortable in claiming her name is Christina
Alcazar.
She wants to be identified as Christine Alcazar so that she can just snake her way in and retrieve information. She called Blake Weiner, my attorney, fed him I don't know what kind of information. The first meeting we had, he told me, "How do you know this Christine lady?" I said, "I don't know her. She just came out of nowhere." It turns out Christine Alcazar is Amy Hodgson, who's on the Discovery talking to Robert Drum from the beginning with Stephanie Claiborne Drum.
Well,
this does not take rocket science to figure out, folks.
Mustafa, why not play her body cam? I have a body cam where Amy Hodgkins is talking to investigator Robert Drum, while Stephanie Claiborne, and I have her picture right here, used to be a Prince William County dispatcher who's no longer a dispatcher or work for the police department, is on the phone call while investigator Drum, the individual that falsified Mustafa's police report, is talking to a lady that claimed to be Amy Hodgkins. Well, Amy Hodgkins is online claiming to be this person, Christine Alcazar, hiding behind Christine Alcazar, when she's really Amy Hodgkins. Now, let's listen to that body cam and listen to a conversation that I've had with this lady a year ago, who came into our life, sent me a message on TikTok claiming to be that she said, "My name is Christine Alcazai. I heard about your brother. I want to advocate for your brother." And she said, "My husband is originally from where you guys are originally from, Iraq, and I want to be there for your brother." Well, quickly we came to an understanding that this lady is just gaslighting us, and it's not here for Mustafa. Now, in light of all the evidence that we have, the body cams that are being released, which will play in 2 seconds, I have a body cam of Christine Alcazai, who's really Amy Hodgkins, the lady that's on a body cam pretending to be a witness that lied about Mustafa. Let's listen to that body cam, and I'm gonna listen, and then we're gonna play an audio a year ago where I'm having a conversation with her about Billy and the club and Kylie and ex-boyfriend. That's interesting. Let's listen to that body cam.
What a connection.
What a connection.
What a connection.
What a connection.
The criminal always comes back to the crime scene. And
that's a fact.
Amy Hodgson. I guarantee you, this person has been concealing their identity, and she says nobody support him, nobody give him a penny. They don't want me to have a defense. They don't want me to include my evidence. And I don't recall her putting even $5 on my commissary account. She never put $1 on my account.
Of course she's not going to put $1 on your account. You think she's going to put $1 on your account? She's terrified that she's going to be caught in jail. She's terrified that she's going to go to jail.
And she tells me how much she supports me. Allah, God, the disposer of all affairs. She tells me how innocent I am. Go read the letters.
Listen, Mustafa.
She's been sending me pictures of herself.
Why read the letters when Mustafa? Why read the letter when I have an audio recording having a conversation with her on the phone a year ago, and it's a disturbing conversation. Okay, let's listen to the body cam.
Play it.
Okay. Now. All right, there we go. There we go. Let's see. Just trying to set this up. There we go. Beautiful.
Yes, sir. Hello. Hi. Dale? Is this Amy Hodgson? No, this is Dale. Okay, well, I got a phone call in reference to a Miss Hodgson. She called in and used this number for us to call her back. Oh, okay, no problem. Yeah, let me get her for you. Thank you. Okay. And I'm going to forward this email I got.
All right, for those that just joined us, we're listening to a body cam between Investigator Drum and an individual that identified herself as Amy Hodgkins, pretending to be a witness that knows everything, but then retract and say, "I wasn't there." But she's given a narrative about what happened. And this investigator, it's so odd that this lady doesn't know anything, but she knows everything, but she wasn't there. And in the background, the wife of the investigator, Stephanie Claiborne Drum, is on the phone call when that lady does not work for the police department. And today she's pretending to be Kate 0707 on the internet. And this lady is Amy Hodgkins pretending to be Christine Alcazai. We're taking a deep dive into the whole thing, and we're going to find out who is who.
To you.
Let's rewind a little bit. There we go.
Yes, sir. Hello. Hi. Dale? Is this Amy Hodgson? No, this is Dale. Okay, well, I got a phone call in reference to a Miss Hodgson. She called in and used this number for us to call her back.
By the way, we've identified Dale. We have his address, we have his phone number, we have his everything, and that is being supplied to the DOJ and the FBI.
Oh, okay, no problem. Yeah, let me get her for you. Thank you. Okay. And I'm going to forward this email I got to you right now. Miss Hodgson. Yeah. My name is Investigator Drum. I work for the Prince William County Crash Unit. I got a very interesting email from you. Or at least an email from Communications about...
Mustafa, if it hangs up, call back, and then we'll just have you merge into this.
I can't call. I'm going to call back later on tonight.
All right, bro. Hey, I love you. Stay strong, okay?
put some money on the phone, and I'll call back later on tonight.
I love you, man. For everybody,
All right.
Mustafa, take care. Habibi, for everybody that's...
Love you too. Make sure you play that recording for everyone to hear to find out who Amy Hodgson really is. That's Christine Alcazai.
Mustafa.
I'll see you later.
Mustafa, the phone call earlier, I have a recording a year ago where she's talking about the club owner. I love you. Take care of yourself.
Hey, the puzzle has been connected, and the truth is coming out. God bless everyone. I love you, and look forward to seeing you guys in person one day.
I love you, man. I love you. Take care of yourself. How you doing?
Tell Mom I love you. Take care. I'll talk to you later.
You hear everybody telling you I love you?
I love you too. I love you more. To the moon and back.
Love you, man. Habibi, take care of yourself. How you doing?
All right, take care, man.
I love you.
I really appreciate it.
I got you. We're all your voice on the outside.
Thank you for using Global Tellink.
Now, this is Christine Alcazai. While she was on the live, she never shows up. By the way, she never turns on her camera. This lady pretends to be this person. On her profile, if you go on TikTok, under Christina Warda, she have you... Actually, let me talk into the mic because I have to have my voice amplified. There we go. This lady, if you go on TikTok, she calls her username is Christina Warda 7, and she always has this picture, telling people that this is what she looks like. Now that's interesting. You know how on TikTok you can put a picture, but if you come close to the picture, your face is gonna show up. Well, one day she came too close to the camera, and this popped up. There we go. So that's what she really looks like. Now, Christina Warda, she says her name is Christine Alcazai. Now, in light of the body cams that are being released, I found this lady on one of the body cams. This lady, about a year ago, about a little bit over a year, came into our life. She said, my name is Christine Alcazai. My husband is originally where you're originally from. And I see that Mustafa is getting is being mistreated, and we have to bring him justice. And she said, I want to advocate for your brother. Now, quickly we came to the conclusion that this lady is just gaslighting us, and it's not really there to advocate for Mustafa. Now, in light of the body cams that are being released, this lady is on a body cam 2 days into the vehicle accident, telling the investigator that falsified the police report that her name is Amy Hodgkins, and she claims to know everything, but she wasn't there. You'll hear what she's talking about. On the same body cam is the investigator's wife, Stephanie Claiborne, who does not work for the police department. What is the investigator's wife doing on a phone call? I'll be right back. What is the investigator's wife doing on a phone call? When she doesn't work for the police department, you'll hear her on the phone call. Now today, she is under Kate, pretending to be Kate 0707. Now, what kind of police misconduct are we watching take place out of Prince William County Police Department that you have the wife of the investigator actively trolling you on the internet? I'll play an audio where they're posting anybody that is advocating for Mustafa. They're posting pictures of their kids on the internet to attempt to silence them. They posted my 4-year-old niece on the internet. They posted our beautiful Casey's kids on the internet. They posted Shelly's pictures. They posted every individual that is here advocate for Mustafa. They'll threaten them by posting their kids. And they're accessing the police department. She's accessing the police department. She's actively on the live every single day, accessing Prince William County resources, her husband's resources, to actively troll and go after anybody that's advocating for Mustafa. Now, we have evidence. If anything that you've gotten used to with this barefooted monkey talk about the case, I have evidence. that when I make a claim, I back it up with evidence. Now, in 2 seconds, we'll play the audio evidence to show that Kate and her group are using Prince William County resources to go after anybody that advocates for Mustafa. Now, this is her body cam. Let's listen to what she tells investigator Robert Drum.
Information you had in reference to the crash that occurred the other night?
Let's listen from the beginning.
So,
There we go.
Yes, sir. Hello.
hi.
Dale?
Is this Amy Hodgson?
No, this is Dale.
Okay, well, I got a phone call in reference to a Miss Hodgson. She called in
Oh,
and used this number for us to call her back.
oh, okay, no problem. Yeah, let me get her for you.
Thank you.
Okay.
And I'm going to forward this email I got to you right now. Miss Hodgson,
Yes.
my name is Investigator Drum. I work for the Prince William County Crash Unit. I got a...
He's going to forward the email that he got from Amy Hodgkins to his wife, Stephanie Claiborne, who's on the phone on three-way. That does not work for the police department. What kind of police misconduct are we watching here?
very interesting email from you, or at least a email from communications about information you had in reference to the crash that occurred the other night.
Yes.
So, can you tell me what you know?
I can. Can you give me 1 second and let me, can you give me 1 second?
Absolutely.
Okay, thank you. 1 second.
When you die, you go to another life. Maybe heaven, maybe purgatory, maybe hell. These...
You got your email open?
No, I stepped out of class. Take your call.
She knows about the accident. She said it was planned by the husband.
How does she know that?
Yeah, I'm going to ask those questions.
Oh my gosh.
Okay, I'm back. Sorry about that.
No, you're good. So tell me how you know, tell me how you know Miss Dorothy.
Okay, I don't know her. I know one of her daughters.
You know one of her daughters?
Her older daughter, Kylie.
Okay.
The little girl that came to the hospital yesterday.
Okay.
I don't know, were you there at the hospital?
No, ma'am.
Okay. So, my granddaughter goes to school with Kylie.
Okay.
The older sibling. I have known about her mother and a little bit about her stepfather for a while now. Kylie was removed from the home. Apparently there's been a lot of abuse, neglect, malnourishment, all that with the other children in the house.
Okay.
So the stepfather this is the stepfather. They're talking about Divine Jones, the stepfather. This is Divine Jones, Dorothy's ex-husband. So she is telling him the background, that there is a lot of abuse. CPS separated Dorothy with Kylie. At the time, Kylie's 16. They removed her. Okay, all right.
Actually, Kylie's mother was supposed to have no contact with Kylie through CPS or DC. I don't know what they call it now, but however, she was still having contact with Kylie. So this is how I'm coming to know of a little bit of this situation. So I'm just trying to give you a little bit of the background of how I know.
Okay.
So Kylie knows a lot about what's going on with her mother and the boyfriend. Apparently the boyfriend is like psycho abusive.
Okay.
And from what I understood was that he was basically forcing the mother to abuse the other children in the house.
Okay. And why? How do we know that?
That the daughter.
Okay.
Okay. So she says, I don't know Dorothy's mom. She says, The ex-husband, was abusive, and CPS separated Dorothy from Kylie, 16-year-old Kylie. She says the boyfriend, talking about Mustafa, is psycho-abusive. How do you know that? She says, according to Kylie, 16-year-old Kylie, who we just spent the past, 45 minutes talking about Kylie. According to Kylie, Mustafa is psycho-abusive. The same Kylie that her dad works for the club owner, the same Kylie that's hanging out with all the strippers that hate Mustafa, the same Kylie that is upset about her mom telling her, I'm going to choose my boyfriend over you and I don't want anything to do with you because you're living a lifestyle where you're doing drugs, you're, this girl seems to think to know that she knows everything and she wants to tell her mom what to do. Her mom is tired. According to the ex-boyfriend, that this girl does drugs. According to Glenn Ford himself, on a recorded line, he says it to the private investigator. He tells her Kylie was on drugs, walks around half naked. Her mom didn't want anything to do with her, and she sent her to live with her dad. This girl separated by CPS. According to this girl, Mustafa is abusive. So Amy Hodgkins didn't witness Mustafa abusive herself. She's relying on Kylie. A bunch of hearsay. And this investigator doesn't call out hearsay? That's interesting.
Is saying that, and also the neighbor.
Okay.
The neighbor. We'll talk about the neighbor.
The day of the accident, he left the other children in the home alone and refused to take them with him.
Okay.
And, he supposedly told the mother, come on, let's go, and then the little girl.
Okay.
And none of those are his biological children.
So she's telling investigator Drum that Mustafa had planned this out, that this is premeditated, that Mustafa specifically told Dorothy and wanted Dorothy on that day to go with him in the vehicle to the cemetery, to her mom's anniversary. It's her mom's anniversary. They were going to visit her mom. It's her mom's anniversary. They were going to that gravesite. Now, what Amy Hodgkins is telling the investigator, that Mustafa planned this out, premeditated, that he specifically wanted Dorothy in his vehicle, specifically hates 5-year-old Empress and wanted her in the vehicle, and told the boys to stay home, and he just wanted Dorothy and Empress, 5-year-old Empress, in his car on that day so he can go and crash the vehicle on purpose. Now, what's unique about this, and it's terrifying for the prosecutor, that the prosecutor is repeating the same sentiments. This is what she's charging Mustafa. She's charging Mustafa with premeditated, specifically that Mustafa wanted Dorothy and Empress, and he's telling the kids, the boys, to stay home. What's unique and disturbing is the prosecutor is terrified because there are Google Nests in the apartment. Video Google Nest. Video evidence that show Mustafa woke up late in the afternoon. He didn't want to go anywhere. And it's Dorothy that wanted him to take her to the cemetery. It's Dorothy that wanted 5-year-old Empress to go with her. It's Dorothy that was telling the boys to stay home. As a matter of fact, not only that we have video evidence from inside the apartment that Amy Hodgkins is lying, Kylie is lying, the prosecutor is lying, there's Google video evidence. The forensic interview with Pharaoh, Dorothy's 9-year-old child, says exactly what the Google Nest show. That it was Dorothy that wanted to go to the cemetery. That it was Dorothy that wanted 5-year-old Empress to go with him. That it was Dorothy that told the boys to stay home. So how could it be premeditated if video evidence show otherwise? And the prosecutor is terrified that this evidence is coming forward.
Okay.
He supposedly said to the mom, let's, I want to take you and the little girl, because he was pissed off at her and the little girl.
And we know this through your daughter?
Through the daughter, her other daughter.
So Kylie.
And the neighbor. Kylie and the neighbor are saying these things. The neighbor knows quite a bit about.
Now, when we have body cams of the neighbor, Nene, a.k.a. she goes by the name of Kim Coleman, Tanisha Coleman. When Investigator Drum talks to Nene, she says, I didn't see anything. That's what the kids are saying. That's interesting. That's what Kylie is saying. That's interesting. So you have an Amy Hotchkiss that says, gives out a narrative, and she says, I didn't see anything. Kylie's the one that saw it. A neighbor that gives out a narrative and say, I didn't see anything. Kylie's the one that saw it. Where's the police department in conducting an investigation and deciphering what is hearsay from what is not hearsay? This police department is specifically targeting Mustafa because Mustafa was in an active lawsuit against the police department. They didn't investigate this. As a matter of fact, they helped manufacture a probable cause. When you tell kids that Mustafa, when you lie to the kids and weaponize them against Mustafa, you're fabricating, you're manufacturing probable cause. Mustafa's been in jail for 2 years based on manufactured probable cause. And they're angry that we're getting to the bottom of it. Let's continue listening to this body cam.
Miss Kim?
I don't know her name.
Okay.
It's the neighbor of the mother, wherever she's living.
Yep, okay. We've talked to her.
Okay, so, and then supposedly he left the hospital and got stitched up and left before you guys got there and went and got the children. Well, I guess you already know that.
So she's telling Investigator Drum that Mustafa ran away from the hospital, ran away from the scene, ran away from the hospital, and before you guys got there. When in fact we have body cam where Mustafa is being helicoptered to the hospital. Mustafa is in the hospital. Mustafa is being released by the hospital and the police. But you have an Amy Hotchkiss who says Mustafa ran away. Now, what I find disturbing and unique is this investigator knows that Mustafa didn't run away, but he doesn't stop to tell an Amy Hotchkiss that, hey, ma'am, you're lying about Mustafa. We're the one that helicoptered Mustafa to the hospital. We're the one that released Mustafa. He doesn't do any of it.
Okay.
That he went and got the children because they were home alone.
Okay.
And he got back to the house and he acted like he didn't know anything. What happened? I don't know what's going on. Well, okay, my daughter, which is, the mother of my grandkids, Kylie called me yesterday crying, and I couldn't even understand what she was saying. Because Kylie's become kind of like part of the family for us, because we know of her situation, and we've kind of taken her in as like a step, daughter, kind of.
Okay.
Well, then their house caught on fire. Kylie was home alone. Caught their house on fire by accident. So the place that they're living now is temporary housing.
Okay.
Until their house is being finished, supposedly. So that is why Kylie is not with the mother and the other children.
That's not true. Not because of a house that burned. It's because Kylie is separated by CPS.
Supposedly he came back to the house because he left the children alone. And came and got the children and then took them to the neighbor's house.
Okay. So, the message that we got.
Now, we have a whole entire video when Mustafa was released by the hospital, by the police. Mustafa's first priority was to check on the kids. And we went to the apartment to check on the kids, make sure the kids are good. We have a whole entire video. But what did she tell the investigator? She told the investigator that Mustafa ran away and is on the run. And she lies to the investigator. Okay, let's continue listening to the body cam.
Said it was all planned by the husband. Why do you think it was planned by the husband?
And that's what apparently Kylie and the neighbor believe is that he had said that he was going to kill her. And that the day that he left, you know, why didn't he take the other children? And it was just like he wasn't really going anywhere specific. It was almost like it was all intentional. I'm going to go do this and I'll be right back.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Okay. So
his veering off into the other lane was intentional.
So what you know is through Kylie and the Miss Kim, the best friend.
Yeah, the neighbor. Yes.
Okay.
I just know her as a neighbor.
So she doesn't know Nene.
Kylie,
She doesn't know the neighbor.
Have you spoke to Kylie?
We have there are special detectives that do interviews with children.
Children, right.
And
right.
they are doing that today.
Okay, good.
So they will get that information hopefully from the children.
Well, I think you're going to get a lot of information you're not going to expect because Kylie knows a lot about what's going on. That poor girl has been through. These are children that have fallen through the cracks.
Okay.
Or another one that's fallen through the cracks with the CPS or whatever, because CPS is aware. I mean, obviously they took Kylie, you know, from her. The mother wasn't even supposed to be having contact with Kylie. But Kylie would call me and she'd be like, my mom is calling me. My mom wants money from me. My mom is making me smoke pot. My mom is making me, you know, take.
Okay. Well, we'll make those phone calls, and I appreciate you taking my
Thank
time.
you so
okay?
much. Yeah, no problem. Because, like I said, when Kylie called me yesterday, because she didn't have anybody else. Her dad was at work, and her grandmother is out of town. So she called me. I live in Locust Grove.
Okay.
And my daughter lives in Prince William County, and my grandkids live in Prince William County. And I was ready to go, and then I called my daughter. I said, look, you're closer than I am. And she said, Mom, I'll go get her right now.
And that's Kylie Clapp.
Yes.
Okay. All right. Well, let me give Kylie a call.
Okay.
And then we'll talk to her. How old is she?
I believe she's had a birthday in October. I think she turned 14 or 15 because she actually celebrated her birthday with us. Not even her own family.
Okay.
She was with us on her last birthday.
Right. Well, let me give Kylie a call.
Okay, and Kylie also knows the number to him, has his phone number.
Yeah, well, we have his phone.
Okay, good.
Awesome. All right, well, thank you very much.
Okay, thank you so much. If you need anything else, let me know.
Right,
Now, this individual, about a little bit over a year, reached out to us, pretending to be Christine Alcazai. She said, my name is Christine Alcazai. I heard about your brother, and I want to advocate for your brother, and what is happening to him is not okay. Now, online, on TikTok, she pretends to be, this is her profile picture. Now, we've never seen her. She's never turned on her camera. Her profile picture on Facebook, on TikTok, under Christina Warda is this. Now, with TikTok, what's unique about TikTok is you'll have your picture. Even if you have your picture, if you come close to the live, you'll see who that person is. Now, one day, this person came close to the live, and this person popped up. Christina Alcazai has been identified as this. This is who hides behind that screen. Now, Christina Alcazai, who pretends to be Christina Alcazai, is showing up on a body cam as Amy Hotchkiss. Now, a year ago, she came into our life, and she said she wants to advocate for Mustafa. Quickly, we realized that this lady is not there for Mustafa, and we distance ourselves from her. Now, on a body cam, she's with the investigator as Amy Hotchkiss. I have a phone call recording with Amy Hotchkiss, aka Christine Alcazai, a year ago, telling her about Billy, the club owner, and the situation that happened with Mustafa a year ago. Now, the police department claim on a body cam, we have a body cam where it shows that the investigator, the police mechanic inside the police department, showed that this vehicle had mechanical failure, had brake failure, had transmission failure. Now, Billy, 2 years ago, had a problem with Mustafa. Today, we find out that Kylie's dad works for Billy, that we found out that Kylie's hanging out with all his employees, the strippers. Now, 2 years ago, a year ago, I had a conversation with Christine Alcazai, who pretended to be an advocate, when in reality, she's Amy Hodgkins. Let's listen to that phone call conversation. And me telling her about Billy, where she's telling me that she did a background about Billy. She knows about Billy. We're having a conversation about Billy. And what's disturbing is today, we see her on a live, pretending not to be Amy Hodgkins. She has Kylie Clapp on her live. She has Glenn Ford, the jealous ex-boyfriend, on her live. She has the wife of the investigator that falsified the police report, Robert Drum, Stephanie Claiborne Drum, a.k.a. as Kate, on the same live. Let's listen to Amy Hodgkins, a.k.a. Christine Alcazai, and what we were talking about a year ago.
He has a real heavy, thick accent. I just buy a printer. And I noticed when he's talking, he has a real heavy, thick accent.
Uh-huh.
I'll give you a background to this conversation. This conversation was, let's see. Specifically, this conversation was January 31st, 2024. She's talking about that she was at Walmart, just minding her own business, and randomly ran into someone while she was buying a printer. Randomly ran into someone that she picked up on his accent, that he has a Stafford accent. Where we're from. First of all, here in Stafford, we don't have accents. But she's sitting there telling me, yeah, I picked him up. It sounded like he had a Stafford accent. Where you guys are from. And all of a sudden, he started talking to me about Mustafa. That's interesting. Let's listen to that conversation.
I just buy a printer. And I noticed when he's talking, he has a real heavy, thick accent.
Uh-huh.
Guess where he's from?
Where is he from?
He's from Stafford, Virginia.
Now, mind you, this lady reaches out to us on TikTok saying that I came across your brother's story, and I want to be there for your brother, and I want to advocate for your brother, Mustafa Al-Jazari. My husband is from where you're originally from, Iraq. Automatically, I trust her. I think, her husband's from Iraq. Wait, I'm from Iraq. And, but quickly, we realized that this lady is not there for Mustafa. She's just gaslighting the conversation. So we distant ourselves from her. Well, now we have her body cam where she's talking to the investigator. Let's continue listening to this conversation.
Oh, his accent is like an American Stafford accent?
Listen, yes.
Yeah.
I noticed it, and then I'm like, wait a minute, I gotta talk to you.
Yeah.
And I said, why are you in Pittsburgh? He goes, well, I found work up here.
Can you connect the dots with me? And the body cam that we just listened to is the same voice on this phone call recordings. Now, that's disturbing when you realize the person behind the line is this. This is who she is. Okay? So let's continue listening to that conversation.
I said, okay. And I said, can I ask you a personal question? He goes, yeah. Amar, he said, if you don't get your brother's case, change a venue out of there, your brother will go to jail for life. He said Stafford is the most crooked. He said, first of all, everybody knows everybody. So even if you get a jury, you're not going to get a fair jury.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
That's number one. Number two, he told me that they're the worst. He said they're the worst cops in the entire Virginia.
Oh, we know. Yeah.
And he said So he said, you have to fight to get a change of venue. He goes, I know them cops down there. He goes, there's two things that could happen. One, you could give a huge donation to the right person and they could fix everything. Or they can screw you and not.
Let me tell you what she's trying to do. She's trying to find out if we have money that we can take on this Commonwealth attorney and what she's bringing up against my brother. Can this family be able to financially stand up against this Commonwealth attorney? Listen.
I'll fix it and take your money anyways. I said, well, that's already happened to someone I know.
Yeah.
And then he's like, I'm not going to even ask you about the case, but he goes, I believe you when you say that the person is innocent.
Yeah.
He said, you don't know how many people in Stafford, Virginia are innocent and they go to jail.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, God, that's scary. But he has firsthand knowledge. He's from there.
Yeah.
How ironic is that I'm in Walmart and I meet somebody that says that?
Yeah, to be honest with you, that's the Lord at work. He's gonna have you witness.
Listening to this a year ago, listening to this today, the only thing I can chalk myself under, what naive world was I living in? How dumb can I get that? How dumb am I that I'm telling her, that's the Lord at work. When the only thing that you can chalk this under is that's the Lord at work. Randomly, she's buying a printer and she runs into this person that's talking to her about Mustafa, that she can pick up on the accent that's from Stafford accent. What kind of bullshit are you feeding me, ma'am?
What's going on? And he's gonna find a way to have people in your path to let you.
Specifically, Amy Hodgkins. What kind of bullshit are you feeding me?
Witness, and this is a testament. Okay.
But it's making me more and more think like we got to really talk to this lawyer about a change of venue because we cannot keep your brother's case there.
Yeah, we were talking.
He said by now, the way he knows things down there, he said by now,
yeah, everybody
knows the story.
Yeah.
Everybody knows the case, and they've already made their judgment.
Oh yeah. You listen to. Yeah. It's not even about the case anymore. It's not about the evidence anymore. It's like a lynching party. When you have like an angry mob.
Yeah. God.
It's like the witch like when they were prosecuting witches like back in like that's a witch hunt.
And then I found out a little bit of info. I dug around about the guy that owns that strip club. The cops know him down there and they're friendly.
You dug around and you found out more about the guy that owns the strip club? Interesting. A year ago, I'm talking to Amy Hodgkins, who pretends to be Christine Alcazai, a.k.a. Christina Warda, on TikTok, who has Kylie, who according to her dad works for the strip club. She's hanging out with the strippers, and she's soliciting, according to the boyfriend, the ex-boyfriend, Glenn Ford, has solicited to get Mustafa killed. You're talking about that club owner? Let's listen to that again.
Like back in that's a witch hunt.
And then I found out a little bit of info. I dug around about the guy that owns that strip club. The cops know him down there and they're friendly with him.
Of course, when they showed up, they were on the guy's side, and the police were already profiling my brother, so they were so happy that they were called out too. But they couldn't kick my brother out. They couldn't legally, blah blah blah. But they were, on his side, But they couldn't do anything to my brother because my brother was within his rights. It was a public easement.
He told me. He said it's just like that whole town. Everybody knows everybody.
You know how much money that guy donates to the police department, Prince William County? It's a strip club passed down by a generation and generation. Okay, the guy is powerful. Okay, and I have no doubt either he messed around with the brakes or the ex-boyfriend messed around with the brakes. Or, it's someone messed around with it. But I'm not going to throw that out there and be like, all I know is the brakes didn't work. It's a brand new brakes. The kids, Dorothy and 5-year-old Empress, they were mishandled. That's why they died. Okay?
Now that I talk to this kid,
They were mishandled by the police department. Dorothy and 5-year-old Empress were not helicoptered. They were mishandled by the police department and the paramedics. Someone didn't make the right call, and they didn't helicopter 5-year-old Empress or Dorothy. Instead, Mustafa was helicoptered. Now, it's disturbing when you're listening to an audio recording of a phone call conversation a year ago about Billy, where I'm telling her about this club owner, where I'm telling Amy Hodgkins. Who's on a body cam with the investigator drum, lying to the investigator, talking about Kylie. Let's recap. What am I talking about here? Specifically, I'm talking about Billy and his connection with Kylie, Dorothy's daughter, who is not a minor, who today is 18 years old. Now, let's recap quickly who Billy is, who Kylie is, and where is Glenn Ford telling us about Kylie. Apparently, Kylie went up to him and solicited to kill Mustafa. Well, this is very interesting because today we have a police body cam where the mechanic of the police department say that Mustafa's vehicle had a mechanical failure. Mustafa hit the brake, but the vehicle would not stop. Now, let's watch the incident with Billy. All right, we're pulling up the video. We are pulling up the video with Billy. All right. There we go. This is Billy. This is 2 years ago. And after this incident, Mustafa meets Dorothy, gets in a relationship with Dorothy. And in the background, Kylie, Dorothy's daughter, apparently knows Billy and is hanging out with Billy's employees. The individuals that hate Mustafa.
But goddamn it, I'm telling you, you're gonna fucking go. You're gonna fucking get off my property. How many times I have to tell him, officer? Get the fuck off my property. Get the fuck off it. I got this whole thing on. Get the fuck off my property. You get the fuck off it. You're gonna go to jail, bro. Yeah, you watch who goes to fucking jail. How many times have you heard how many times I've told him? And you'll fucking see where we're standing. Get the fuck off my property, motherfucker. Fuck you. Get up. Fucking keep it up. And
This video went viral. 7 million saw this video. The community started boycotting Billy for being racist to Mustafa. Now, Mustafa gets in a relationship with Dorothy a month later. In the background, we have a Kylie that's angry at Mustafa, that according to the boyfriend himself, went up to him and solicited to kill Mustafa. Let's listen to Glenn Ford, the boyfriend, and what he says Kylie had asked him to do.
She wanted me to shoot, like, kill him.
The older daughter wanted you to kill him?
Yeah. Like, right, like, could you please, like, if I make it look like, so, like, you know what I'm saying, like, something, and it's like self-defense, would you do it? And I'm like, no.
Now, Kylie soliciting Mustafa to be killed by the ex-boyfriend. You can't get mad at me, Kylie. You can't get mad at me, Glenn Ford. You're saying it yourself to a private investigator, admitting that Kylie came up to you and asked you to kill Mustafa and make it look like an accident. Why are we not addressing that giant elephant in the room? Glenn Ford, if you have nothing to hide, we would like you to explain to us, what are you telling this private investigator about Kylie Clapp, who today is 18 years old? She can't hide behind being a minor, is soliciting to murder Mustafa and make it look like an accident. Now, why is Kylie asking to kill Mustafa? From a recorded, we have her on a recorded line, telling us, saying that her dad works for Billy, the same Billy that is angry at Mustafa for almost running him out of business. 7 million. This video was watched by 7 million people at the time and almost ran out of business. Kylie says on a recorded line that her dad works for Billy, that she's hanging out with around the employees that works for Billy. In a forensic interview, she says, my dad is forcing me to be here. Does the prosecutor know that your dad works for Billy and you hang around his employees? Does the prosecutor know that the same dad that's forcing you to be in this forensic interview and lie about Mustafa works for Billy? The same Billy that almost ran out of business? Let's listen to that audio.
My dad, he's a piercer. He pierces like a lot of strippers, and he had brought up to them what happened, and they were who they were, and they were like, yeah, we know this guy. Like, he used to record our license plates and put it on the internet and like follow us home and stuff. So I also was thinking, I don't want them to follow me home, and I don't want to put myself in a position where, you know, I'm unsafe.
In a forensic interview, Kylie says, my dad is forcing me to be here. The same dad that works for Billy, the same dad that is angry at Mustafa for almost running him out of business. Today, we have a Kylie who is on audio. According to the boyfriend, ex-boyfriend, Glenn Ford, says that Kylie asked to murder Mustafa and make it look like an accident. Well, what do we have today? We have the police department, the police mechanic inside the police department, inspect Mustafa's vehicle and find brake failure and find transmission failure. Mustafa's transmission, the police department says, the mechanic says, that the drive shaft disconnected from the engine. Well, that would explain what the computer inside the vehicle shows, because it shows that Mustafa's foot is on the brake and the RPM is shooting really high. Mustafa's foot is only on the brake, not on the gas, just on the brake. And Mustafa is hitting the brake, but the vehicle doesn't stop. As a matter of fact, the RPM shoots up high. Now, this would be explained when if you're talking about the drive shaft disconnected from the engine, yeah, the engine has no option but to rev up. That would explain the RPM going high. Well, when we look at the picture that the police department took of the vehicle, the bolts are missing around the transmission. What did they do to the transmission? What did they do to the calipers that did not work? Mustafa had a passenger back caliper that did not work, a front passenger caliper that did not work. The police department is talking about mechanical failure. And we have a Kylie Clapp on a recording. The ex-boyfriend admit to a private investigator that Kylie Clapp came up to him on a recorded line, that Kylie Clapp solicited to get Mustafa murdered, killed, and make it look like an accident. We have a Kylie Clapp who her dad, who she hangs out around those strippers, Kylie Clapp's dad worked for the club owner. We have a forensic interview that we haven't released yet, that Kylie Clapp tells the forensic psychologist with the police department, my dad is forcing me. Well, ma'am, your dad has a very big relationship with the club owner. Do you know how deep of a relationship you have to have with a strip club owner to be able to pierce all his strippers? Jason Clapp pierces all the strippers for Billy Bain, the club owner out of Crystal City. Kylie says her dad works there, and she says, I hang out with all of them. She's repeating the same sentiment that the strippers are now saying about Mustafa. Now, the police department has a job to do. Take this information and investigate. And if the police department are not investigating, the DOJ and the FBI are 100% investigating. We took all this information. We supplied it to certain individuals in the DOJ and the FBI department. And they're looking at 18-year-old Kylie Clapp. They're looking into Glenn Ford. They're looking into Amy Hopkins. They're looking into Nene, a.k.a. Kim Coleman, Tanisha Coleman. Because we have body cams that are now adding up. And we have individuals that are on the live running away from the conversation. You have Christina Alcazay, who is Amy Ashworth, is Amy Hopkins, running away from the conversation. Now, I find it very disturbing that a fat fuck like this can be able to run. You can run, but you can bet Mustafa's brother, the barefooted monkey, is going to be able to catch you. I mean, I've got all your body cams. I've got all your body cams.
Yeah, keep your shoes on. Barefoot monkey. Nope.
You know, and I find it disturbing for the star witness, Glenn Ford, the jealous ex-boyfriend who lied about Mustafa, is hiding behind, oh, Mustafa's brother is a racist. He called me a monkey. Well, you know, I find it very disturbing that you're getting offended from a guy that walked around calling himself a barefooted monkey. You can't hide behind me calling you a monkey. Kylie Clapp cannot hide behind her being a minor. She's 18 years old, and I invite Glenn Ford, the ex-boyfriend. I invite Kylie Clapp, 18-year-old Kylie Clapp. I invite Amy Hopkins, a.k.a. Christina Alcazay. I invite Stephanie Claiborne Drum, a.k.a. Kate0707 on the internet, to join us on a podcast in front of the FBI building in D.C., where we put a table, couple of chairs, on public property in front of the FBI building, and we're going to carry a podcast. Now, I invite them to be physically there and have a conversation. We're attempting to have a conversation. And if you have nothing to hide, then you should have no problem showing up physically and be on the podcast. We simply have questions for you. We have questions for you where we are watching your body cams. We are reading the discovery. We're listening to audio conversations where it shows that you lied. And if you have nothing to hide, there shouldn't be a problem with you showing up and having a conversation. It's a podcast in front of the FBI building. I mean, I find it disturbing that you have individuals that are refusing to address the giant elephant in the room, and instead are hiding behind, you know, Char, I'm glad you're here, ma'am. Casey, Stefana, I'm glad you guys are here. This is Yes, ma'am.
You're not invited, Christine.
Oh no, she's definitely invited.
She's the elephant in the room.
Oh, she's definitely invited. You know, when I'm inviting Amy Hodgkins, aka Christine Alcazai, aka Christina Warda, Christina Vila. God damn, you go by so many names. I invite Stephanie Claiborne, Jeffrey. She goes by so many names. I invite Stephanie Claiborne, and we have her picture on the. There we go. This is investigator Robert Drum's wife, who falsified the police report, who used to be a Prince William County dispatcher, who's no longer a dispatcher, but was on a phone call with Amy Hodgkins. Now, you want to talk about police misconduct. What are we watching where you have an active investigator, the main investigator on the case, have his wife on the phone while he's talking to a witness? That's very disturbing. We want an answer out of Prince William County for that body cam. And you can bet that we're going to be filing complaints with Prince William County Internal Affairs to get to the bottom of it. We have so many complaints. Every police report is falsified. You know, when I say, I'm not exaggerating, every police report in Mustafa Al-Jazari's case is falsified. Now, we invite Amy Hodgkins, a.k.a. Christina Alcazai. We invite Stephanie Claiborne, investigators, Drum's wife. Okay? We invite a barefooted monkey invites another monkey to join us in front of the FBI building. Glenn Ford. You can't hide behind me calling you a monkey, brother. Let's have a conversation. I just want to talk.
What about Chase? Show his face.
We invite our troll, Mark Chase, who is using, I find it beautiful. I find it disturbing that you have the wife of the investigator, Stephanie Claiborne, on the live using Prince William County resources while she has this guy that is too terrified to turn on his camera and hide behind a computer that says, if I find you supporting Mustafa, I'm going to post your kids. Now, that's very disturbing. We have the wife of the investigator online using her husband's Prince William County resources. We have Alcazai, who's Alcazai, Christina Warda. This is what she looks like. We have, which is Amy Hodgkins pretending to be a witness. We have the ex-boyfriend Glenn Ford threatening Mary Jo, threatening this individual. And what did they tell her? They tell her, if I catch you on the other side, supporting Mustafa, I'm going to put your kids back up. I'm going to post your kids, pictures of your kids. And Mary Jo doesn't even say anything to them. As a matter of fact, what does she say to them? She avoids the giant elephant in the room and says, Amar is messed up for talking about Kylie. Well, is she aware? Is Mary Jo aware that Kylie is 18 years old? And let me ask you a question. Why are we avoiding the giant elephant in the room when the police department, I don't see Mary Jo talking about the police department lying to those kids, a 9-year-old, a 10-year-old, a 14-year-old, a 16-year-old. I don't see Mary Jo talk about this police department who lied about Mustafa, lied to kids in their most vulnerable time. They just lost their mother. They just lost their 5-year-old baby sister. And the police department lied to kids who just lost their mother and 5-year-old baby sister about the only person they trusted in their life. They told those kids that they painted Mustafa as a monster. They said Mustafa did it on purpose within hours of the vehicle accident. They haven't investigated this. They haven't watched the dash camera. They haven't talked to Mustafa. They haven't investigated the accident. And they're going up to kids telling them that Mustafa killed your mom on purpose. Mustafa ran away from the scene when we know that's a lie. The dash camera shows a vehicle accident. Mustafa is being helicoptered to the hospital. Mustafa is in a coma. The police department is actively lying to the kids, telling them that Mustafa ran away and left your 5-year-old baby sister in the car. And if he hadn't ran away, your 5-year-old sister would have still been alive today. We have the forensic interview where Jaden, the 14-year-old child, is telling us that's what the police department is doing to him. Now, I find it interesting that Mary Jo is not addressing the giant elephant in the room. She's not talking about the police department abusing the kids, lying to the kids. Is that not child abuse? I don't see Mary Jo talking about that. I don't see Mary Jo talking about what Chase, a.k.a. Mark, is telling her about, you better not have me catch you up there, talking about and advocating for Mustafa, or I'm going to put your kids back up. I don't see Mary Jo addressing that. I don't see Mary Jo address that they posted my 4-year-old niece on the internet. I don't see Mary Jo address that they posted Casey's kids on the internet. I don't see Mary Jo address that they're posting anybody's kids on the internet. I don't see Mary Jo address them posting her kids on the internet. And when the conversation is where you're not having an honest conversation, you're either terrified from these people. I mean, I get it. I mean, you have the wife of the investigator using Prince William County resources, actively threatening anybody that talks about Mustafa. I mean, I can see you walk away. I get it. But if you're going to walk away, let's call a spade and actually talk about what is going on here. You're terrified that they're posting your kids, and you don't have to take my word for it. Let's hear it from them themselves. This is a live that they held where Mary Jo is on there, and they're telling her, you better not catch you up there, or I'm gonna put those pictures back up of your kids.
It's making me mad, and I'm doing something about it.
They're trying to find a way to justify.
Hey, don't worry. Trust me, I'll continue and continue and continue. I'll continue until
They deserve everything they're getting from you because they're just nasty people.
Mark's on a mission.
You see how Mary Jo came over? Nice to have her on board.
Yep. I think Mary Jo is about to really take them videos down, and she's about to come forward and let them know that she don't believe them anymore.
Well,
I just want to hug Mary Jo. I feel like she probably needs a hug.
I trust her at this point, but if I catch her over there hanging out, it's going back up. But at the moment, I trust her. I take her word. She seems like she's sincere, so as am I.
I mean, the second I said come in on your real account and come in and support Kylie, she did it right away.
Yeah.
Bro, I'm telling you, the other day, I remember I came in and I said, guys, I was just in Mary Jo's room, remember?
Yep.
I told, she wasn't paying attention, then she looked at the comments, and in the comments, I said to her, I said, oh, look, aren't you the one that supports child murdering? And, literally, she read it and, started, breaking down and started crying, and then, 3 days later, or I don't know, 2-3 days later, she's in here,
But it's making, I'm mad.
Let's address the giant elephant in the room. Let's have a real conversation. And you'll never catch me badmouth Mary Jo. I'm not in the business of bad-mouthing anybody. I'm just simply having conversations about body cams, discovery material, and who is who in the Mustafa Al-Jazari case. Now, to sit here and hide behind that Kylie Clapp is a minor. No, she's not. Kylie's 18 years old. She was 16 at the time, and today she's 18 years old. And the real conversation is, you can't hide behind a minor when you're soliciting to murder Mustafa. You can't hide behind a minor when you're lying in the Mustafa Al-Jazari case.
Yeah, that's right.
Now, the giant elephant in the room, if we were to have a conversation, let's have a conversation about what this police department did and how it's child abuse to lie to kids. I mean, this is what Jaden is telling us. Let's listen to what Jaden is telling us. Jaden tells us that investigator told him and lied to him about Mustafa. Told him that Mustafa ran away, and if it wasn't for Mustafa running away, his 5-year-old baby sister would have still been alive today. That's a lie. We know that's a lie. We have the body cams. We have Mustafa. Yes, ma'am.
If we flew your sister into the hospital with Mustafa, your sister still might be alive. That's what
Exactly. And Casey, you're absolutely
20 minutes deciding what they're going to do with the bodies.
during traffic, during heavy traffic. Yes, ma'am.
We'll do something with the bodies soon.
You know, I find it disturbing how they're referring to Dorothy and Empress. I find it disturbing that they made the wrong call and not helicopter 5-year-old Empress or Dorothy. Now, you're going to put 5-year-old Empress in an ambulance truck all the way to a hospital during traffic when you have a helicopter on standby. I find that disturbing.
They were in the line. They said they were already passed away, both of them,
Now,
at that time.
All you have to do is just pull.
the conversation, if we're having a genuine conversation, if we're having a real conversation, if we're having a conversation away from trolling and the conversation, let's address what Jaden is telling us. Jaden is telling us that the police department lied to him.
As long as I don't see those comments, I can talk and talk and talk. Once I see those comments and the trolls, forget it. I'm glad I can't see them. Anything to Stefano?
And on the game. I went into my mom's room, was watching YouTube with my baby sister. My brother wanted me to leave so I can show something. I didn't stay, so I stayed, and I stayed until I left with them. And because they were leaving soon to go with errands, rather I should have stayed because that was going to be the last day I ever saw her again. I came back from Daniel's house to my brother and my younger brother, Farron, and she's still here. Apparently they didn't go with them, which was a good thing. Anyway, I was watching them, waiting for them to get back until I got the news when I saw, we called it release, but anyway, he came from the hospital in a hospital gown, and blood on his forehead, and which was weird. He told me, my mom, they got into a T-bone accident. Rather, no, that was on purpose. He made that T-bone accident, he ran out to mid-traffic, and he put himself in an accident on purpose. I don't know why, I don't know his reasons, but at the time I was so upset, I didn't realize the truth. I was crying, I was upset, I was really upset. My mom just died. We cleaned the whole house for her too, cheer her up. And at the time my baby sister was in the hospital. She was in a car seat at the and she didn't, sadly did not make it. In fact, I saw him lying to my face, and his family lied to my face. His mom lied to my face. And they were trying to protect him. He left before the cops came to get there. When they got into the car crash, the detective said he jumped out and ran and left my baby sitting there. And if he just thought to bring her to the hospital, maybe she would have made it, but she didn't because he decided to be a coward, and now she's gone. And now I have some two brothers. She was the sweetest. She would never even hurt a fly. She was innocent too. 25. And my mom's gone, or she's gone, because of one man that I trusted. My mom kept on telling me, he's a guy, I kept on saying, okay. Alright, I told her, I had my suspicions, and I should have went with my gut. I knew something wasn't right, and I still believed her, and that's why I got today.
So the craziest thing happened to.
So Jaden says investigator told him, lied to him about Mustafa. Lied to him about Mustafa. And Hassan, can you put mom as a mod on the live? Can you put mom as a mod? If you want to tell a mom to type something, so that way I can just make her a mod. Investigator lied to Jaden and say that Mustafa ran away, and if he hadn't run away, your 5-year-old sister would have still been alive today. When in fact, it's the police department, the paramedic, that failed to airlift 5-year-old Empress. When in fact that Mustafa was being helicoptered, Mustafa was in a coma, Mustafa was in the hospital, and the police department lied to Jaden. Now, why can't we talk about that? Why are we not addressing this giant elephant in the room? Instead, you want to talk about Amar and me releasing the body cam and the forensic, and Kylie is a child. Kylie's not a child. She's 18 years old. And we're going to talk about what she's doing, how she's lying about Mustafa, how she solicited to murder Mustafa. Her cell phone is going to get, her cell phones and emails are going to get subpoenaed. Glenn Ford's cell phones and emails are going to get subpoenaed. Amy Hodgkins' cell phones and emails are going to get subpoenaed. Stephanie Claiborne Drum, cell phones and emails are going to get subpoenaed. Investigator Robert Drum, Investigator Davis, Investigator Romero. Those investigators' cell phone is going to get subpoenaed and emails, knowing now that Dave had communication with the witnesses before they talked to them. What was said before those investigators, and what did they coach them into saying before they put them in a forensic interview? Now, Mustafa was in an active lawsuit. The background to all this mess, Mustafa's in an active over $500,000 lawsuit. And are we really surprised that the police department are targeting Mustafa? When we come back, we're going to have another live where we're going to go over the dash camera, which is sealed by the government, that the prosecutor is terrified that the community is going to watch. We're going to dissect this dash camera, minute by minute, second by second. And we're going to see what happened on this dash camera, and why is the prosecutor terrified that the community is going to see on this dash camera, that they sealed off by the government. Prosecutor Sarah Sammy, Commonwealth Amy Ashworth, went to Judge Weimer to seal off this dash camera. Well, unfortunately for Prosecutor Sarah Sammy and Commonwealth Amy Ashworth, I have this dash camera, and I post it. It was given to me by a Prince William County police officer on a flash drive, along with other body cams and discovery material, and I'm leaking it all over the internet. And when we come back, in the next live that we're going to hold, we're going to go over this dash camera, dissect this dash camera, and we're going to see why is Prosecutor Sarah Sammy terrified that this dash camera is going to be watched by this community. We have a dash camera that shows it's a vehicle accident. The whole entire thing is a tragic vehicle accident where Mustafa, in a tragic vehicle accident, lost his family. And the prosecutor is hiding this dash camera. But unfortunately for her, it's on the internet, and we're watching it. As a matter of fact, we have evidence that this police department cut this dash camera and muted this dash camera. And in fact, there is an audio on this dash camera on the SD card. In the discovery, Officer Zymus with the Prince William County Police Department admit that this dash camera has audio. Now, we have a lot of trolls that are attempting to troll the conversation. But unfortunately for them, we have body cams, we have discovery, and we have the dash camera itself, where this community is going to watch, and not only watch this material, but we're going to break them down on this giant, beautiful podcast. And we're going to talk about what is going on with the Mustafa Al-Jazari case. And on that note, this is not another boring podcast. Mustafa Al-Jazari through the police body cams, Judge Carol Weimer under the microscope, and we have our beautiful cup. The key word is alleged. I have a whole entire county coming after me. They're alleging that I stole this cup. I'm here to tell you, yes, I did. I sold the cup. But the body cams and the discovery, Elaine is lying. Elaine is lying. And February 26th, Judge Funk is giving me a whole entire day to go after these exhibits. Now, on that note, I want to thank everybody for being here. Stefana, Char, Casey, everybody that's been here. We've been here for almost 2 hours. When we come back tomorrow, I'll post a time that we're going to be on. We're going to take a deep dive into this dash camera and how on dash camera it shows that this is a vehicle accident, and the prosecutor is terrified that the community is watching this dash camera. Stefana, Char, Casey, I love you guys. Thank you for being here. Keep us in your prayers. And I want to ask everybody before we end this live, Mustafa's legal fund is through a Cash App. The Cash App is, let me pull it up. That's Susie in the background. Love you, ma'am.
Excuse me, I ask people who are really fit, what do they do for their workout? Like, are you using?
Huh?
I sent you some super stickers or whatever that you can buy on YouTube. I don't know if you got them or not.
Casey, I love you, ma'am. I appreciate you being there. I appreciate you supporting Mustafa. The legal fund is $Mustafa Legal Fund. You can donate to the Cash App through a Cash App. This is Mustafa's legal fund. Mustafa's phone calls are expensive. Mustafa's commissary is expensive. Mustafa's lawyer is expensive. And we ask if you can donate. You donate to a Cash App, $, Mustafa Legal Fund. On that note, thank you for joining our podcast. Not another boring podcast. Mustafa through the police body cams. Judge Carol Weiner under the microscope. And don't forget, we're extending an invitation for Glenn Ford to physically show up in a podcast. The star witness, Kylie Clapp, 18-year-old Kylie Clapp, to show up in front of the FBI building. Amy Hodgkins, a.k.a. Christine Alcazai, Stephanie Claiborne, a.k.a. 0707, to join us in a podcast where we're going to hold a live podcast in front of the FBI building in D.C., where we put a table, couple of chairs, the same setup we did in the past, and we ask that they join us in a live podcast so they can answer our questions. We have a lot of questions for them. The community is asking a lot of questions in light of the body cams and discovery being released. We're looking forward to having a conversation. And for the love of fucking God, don't hide behind me calling you a monkey. For a guy that walks around calling himself a barefooted monkey, you're offended that I'm calling you a monkey? Come on, brother. You're doing nothing but attempting to run away from the conversation. In your own word, on a recorded line, you told us how disgusting you are sleeping with Kylie. At the time, Kylie was 16. You said that Kylie, you wake up to Kylie and you're sleeping in your bed. As a matter of fact, you don't have to take my word for it. Let's listen to that audio before we end the podcast. You know, it's one thing when you hear me make these giant claims. It's another thing when this disgusting conversation is coming out of his own mouth. He says Kylie will get so high and show up in his apartment, doesn't know where she's at, and he wake up with her sleeping in his bed. You're worried about me calling you a monkey? Brother, I'm going to have the whole community make you my monkey. You disgusting human being. We have questions. Not only did you lie about Mustafa, you're fucking a 16-year-old. In your own word, you told a private investigator you're fucking a 16-year-old. Now, not only that you lie about Mustafa, You fucked a 16-year-old. And now I have audio where you're admitting to that investigator that you fabricated your mom's college certificate, degree, and that's why she has a job. Now, last time I checked, there is something called Mohammed. What is that thing when you lie? Something more. Do you know what I'm talking about? When you lie, and you no longer as a credible person. Do you know what I'm talking about? Moral turpitude. Is it called moral turpitude? What is it called? It's called a liar. Moral. Yep, moral turpitude. Let's define what a moral turpitude. What is considered moral? And apparently his mom is in charge of a couple of hotels because he falsified his mom's degree. Moral turpitude. What is moral turpitude? A phrase that describes wicked, deviant behavior constituting an immoral, unethical, or unjust departure from ordinary social standard such that it would shock the community. I mean, I could have told you that you're a fucked up person by fucking a 16-year-old. Not only that you're doing that, but you're falsifying your mother's degree. Now, stand by for that audio to be released. Now, you can't get mad at me. He's the one saying it. Let's listen to the audio that we already have publicized where he's talking about fucking a 16-year-old.
She looked like she took like multiple points. She took a bunch of I know for a fact Dorothy didn't do pills with her, but she was smoking weed.
I'm really afraid of announcing this because I feel I'm going to get a lot of hate from the entire self-help industry and the productive.
She's a sweetheart. She's a fucking sweetheart. She gangster too. She gangster. She's ready to kill that nigga. Like seriously kill that nigga.
She's the one that wanted me to kill. So what did she say to?
Oh, cause
they be arguing.
Yeah, she be like the way she dressed and shit. Dorothy be like you run around acting like a little slut or whatever. And she be like, oh, you need to go to hell back because we used to fuck the same guys and da 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 and all that shit. I'm like, oh,
what?
Y'all gotta go.
Wow.
Y'all gotta go.
Wow. And you was only 16? And said we used to?
I'm like, y'all gotta go.
Did you hear what she just said? And she's only 16. So at the time she was 16. Did anybody catch that? So at the time she was 16. So it's been 2 years. Kylie is 18 years old.
She had her birthday.
Yep.
So this shit right here, Francisco came. It's like, yeah, it's Dorothy Fontaine. I'm like, yo, she don't fucking live there. I'm like, yeah, because her kids haven't been in school for weeks. I'm like, I don't know where she at. She doesn't live here. She never lived there. Like,
A lot of her behaviors remind me of someone who has a substance abuse problem.
no, she never, like, she didn't do no drugs. She
What
knew,
about that Mustafa guy?
I don't know. I just think he just smokes weed. 'Cause I even asked her, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, yo, you on?
Is he alcoholic?
I just know he smokes weed. Because I asked her, like, you know what I'm saying? Because at that time, I was taking the shit. And I was like, would it be a problem? Like, you know what? This is something that I won't, if I do it, I won't do it in his house.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So every time I, like, come home from work, I would do it before I get in the house.
Yeah.
Or I would step out my house.
Yeah.
I shouldn't have to step out my house.
Yeah.
Every time she tried to sleep in my bed, like, no, go in the fucking living room, yo. I'm like, you're not sleeping in my bed, not with me in it. Like, I don't want none of that drama. I don't want none of that shit. One time I went to sleep, I woke up, she was in my bed, I got my ass up and went in the fucking living room. So, it's alright, man. Like, I fuck with you, my friend, and all that. Like, I know we had a history, we had a friend, whatever, but this is different.
Are we fucking listening to this shit? She would show up, high, doesn't know where she's at, and then wake up sleeping in my bed, with her sleeping in my bed. What the fuck are you? What the fuck is he talking about? Now we have a lot of questions. We have a lot of questions. We have a lot of questions for Glenn Ford. We have a lot of questions about Glenn Ford. Him talking about Kylie arguing with her mom about fucking the same guy. Fucking the same guy, Glenn Ford? Fucking the same guy. That's the argument that she's having with her mom. That every time she comes around, there's drama. That Kylie is the way she dresses like a slut. That's what her mom is arguing with her about. That Kylie shows up high on hard drugs and it's not weed. That's the Kylie we're talking about. 18-year-old Kylie. Interesting. Now, we invite... Amy Hodgkins says... Interesting. Now, we invite Glenn Ford. We invite 18-year-old Kylie. We invite Amy Hodgkins. We invite Stephanie Claiborne on a podcast in front of the FBI building. And if they have nothing to hide, let's have a conversation. You should have no problem physically showing up. As a matter of fact, let me describe the scene for you. Just in case you're terrified to show up physically, let me paint the scene for you. The FBI building is right here. The FBI building is right here. The FBI building is right here. And there's armed guards right next to where we put that table. So for the love of God, don't tell me that you're terrified to show up. Because there are armed guards that are guarding the Department of Justice building in uniform right next to the table. So we invite you to show up to that podcast to have a civil conversation. We and the community are dying to ask you questions about what you said on body cams, what you're saying on Discovery, what you're saying on audio recording, and we're only attempting to have a conversation. Let's not derail the conversation and turn it into a troll conversation, because I'm going to remind you every single time, I am here to have a conversation. On that note, I want to thank Casey, our beautiful, beautiful cult leader. I want to thank Char, her second in command. And I want to thank Stefana, who's overseeing this cult. I want to thank Becky, Shelly, and everybody, Missy, and everybody that's here, that's been there with us for a long time. I want to thank everybody that's on this podcast. I want to thank everybody that's there for us in our attempt to bring Mustafa justice, his girlfriend Dorothy justice, 5-year-old Empress justice. I want to thank everybody for being here. This is not another boring podcast. Mustafa Al-Jazari through the police body cams, Judge Carol Weimer under the microscope. And Shirley, I did not forget about you. I love you, Shirley. Thank you for being here, and thank you for joining the conversation. Yes, ma'am. Always in the background.
Forget to tell the keyboard warriors good night too.
You know, I want to thank all my keyboard warriors, all my trolls for trolling the conversation. You are making me famous. You just don't know. You don't know what you're doing and the effort of bringing Mustafa, Dorothy, and 5-year-old Empress justice. When you troll, you're only telling people about me. Now, I look forward to the trolling. I look forward to redirecting the conversation to the facts. When I make certain claims, I can always back up my claim. I will never make a claim that I can't back it up with evidence. Now, I hope this is the conversation that we have, that when we say certain things, we can back them up with an actual piece of evidence. On that note, I love everybody. You guys have a good night, and join us tomorrow. We're going to shoot for 3 o'clock. I'll put the schedule up for another podcast where we're going to take a deep dive into the dash camera that the prosecutor is terrified that this community is going to watch. On that note, you guys have a good night. I love everybody.
Good night, Shirley. Good night, Amar.